This video is to introduce Billy, our youngest of our fleet of rainbow camper vans. He's a 1979 Devon Moonraker double top. Billy can sleep 4 and he's got seats for 4 too. He's our bling bus. He thinks he's cool, he's a bit of a medallion man. I'm going to start by showing you keys. All of our vans have gained a few keys over the years. On this bunch, the big key is just the driver's door. The little key is just for the fuel filler, and this one is for everything else. So it does the ignition, the tailgate and the sliding door. The next thing to say about keys is that if they're left in the van unattended, the insurers require me to tell you he's not insured, so make sure you don't do that. Okay, round to the sliding door. This is the key for that. It goes in with the tab pointing towards the front. Simply do that to unlock it, and then press the handle down and it pops open at the back and goes onto another catch. On the inside, when you're closing the door from there, just push the catch forwards to release the catch, and then it's easiest to hold it up here to give it a good whiz shut on that bit there. That's easier than holding the handle. It goes down the side of the seat. Once you've shut the door, this is the catch for locking it from the inside. Next, we'll pop the roof up. Billy's roof is hinged on the driver's side with 2 catches just holding it down on the passenger side. First of all, pull out the little R clip, lift the catch up and let it come down, put the clip back in again, and then you're not looking for it the following morning. The back one, just the same. Pull the clip, pop that up and down and put it straight back through. Now the first time you come to do that, you'll find it's a real faff. It's hard to line up the catch going through, but just make sure it's parallel to the van and it'll go in as easy as I've just done it. This clip at the back is bigger than the one at the front, so always make sure you put the small one in the front, otherwise it catches the cabin door. Once we've released the catches, we just step inside the van. There's 2 handles in the roof. Get hold of those and I push it up with my head. Onto the handles, and let it go up. It goes up on 4 gas struts. Up in the roof we've got the tabletop. I'll just lift that down. On the other side we've got Billy's buddy seat. There's a frame here. We'll lift that around and it attaches onto the seat here that folds down. Just pop it in. Like that. Let the leg come down. Get the seat cushion and pop it on there. And next we've got the table. The table leg is hiding underneath the seat in a couple of clips. Get the pole, pop the pole in the hole, and then the bracket on the bottom of the table goes down on top. Once you've got the table in place, you can't move, so it's always the last thing you do once you've got things out of the cupboard, out of the fridge, out of the back and so on underneath the back seat. You get the knack. You'll learn from the first night. First night's always chaos. Second night, you've got a bit more expert. By the third night, you're just getting smug, really. Next thing we'll show you is how the back seat converts into a bed. And we're going to need to lose the seat belts. There's a lap belt on this side. Just pull the cushion forward, drop the belt down the back. Release the cushion. This one's got a 3-point seat belt on that can go around child seats. Tuck that away. On the back of the seat there's a little blue strap. If it's hiding, just bring that out and it makes it easier for making it back into a seat. Then you can get hold of the handles, lift it up and pull. And it goes down. And that's where you make your bed up. We recommend, this is quite slippy, so sheets will not work on the beds in the vans. Best thing to do is to put either a blanket down, or we like to use like a 4-tog, summer duvet, maybe just a single bed size. That fills that space really nicely and makes a good pad to sleep on. If you've remembered to pop the blue strap out, put a finger under there, lift the back up with that, lift the front edge, and it goes down with a bang. Now 9 times out of 10 when you come to do that, this cushion will get caught in the gap between the boards. And if I try and demonstrate that, because it went perfectly last time, just pull that. If that's caught in there, you'll find the whole thing will just rock. In which case, lift it up, lift the cushion, pop it back down, and it should sit down nice and solid. So that's the bed downstairs. Up in the roof, we've got 2 sliding panels, and you can either slide the back one to meet the front, or the front one to meet the back. If we just get hold of this, drag it across, and then you can look up into the roof, and it makes another 4-foot double bed. For small children, you can just give them a boost up into the bed. Bigger ones, it's alright just to climb up, but don't sit on the bit of the van roof that's been exposed by moving the bed. That's just like sitting on the roof of your car, so it's not very strong. When you come to slide this back in, if you're moving the front one, the DVD players have got a bit of weight to it, so you might just have to help it with a hand. And then up here, the lead for the DVD might just need guiding in as you slide that back in place. So that's Billy's bed arrangements. Underneath the back seat, lift this up. Various things to help you keep warm, which seems a bit funny on a sunny day like this. First of all, here we've got Billy's hookup cable. If you're on a campsite with electric, you can plug him into the mains, and I'll demonstrate in a moment with a cable out the back where it plugs in. The hookup then feeds through a set of breakers which are in a box here, and if any of the sockets don't work when you're hooked up to the mains, just make sure all the switches on here are in the down position. The last thing we've got in here in this grey box is entertainment, puzzles, games for the PlayStation, pens for the diary, and there's also the handsets for the PlayStation too. When you're putting things under this seat, always make sure that you allow for the brackets that make up on the bed for going back down into that space there. If you have something like the fan heater under there, you're going to get a nasty crunch when those go in place. There is just room for the hookup cable in its bag to sit in that space, and that will just touch on top of there. So we'll pop round the back and have a look at the hookup. The hookup on Billy is in the engine bay. There isn't a key for this, just pop the catch, lift that up, and I'll get my demo cable. You'll find that the lead in Billy will say van end, campsite end to make it easier. Lift up the cap on the end and pop it on there. As soon as you've done that, we don't want to forget that that's connected. So in the cab, there's a little sign in the door pocket. As a reminder, stick that to the steering wheel, and then you won't feel like a wally as you drive off with an orange tail behind you. Never forget to do that straight away. It's surprising how easy it is to forget that you're hooked up to the mains. So we've connected the hookup cable in Billy's engine bay. Your main sockets will work, and you can use those for powering the fan heater, keep you warm at night. You can run the cool box off it, I'll show you that in a moment, and also the PlayStation. There's not many technical things in Billy. The things that run off the battery are the lights. Should we switch that on there? The little toggle switch there does the light up in the roof, and over the cooker we've got another light there. So they all work off the battery, and they'll work whether you're on the hookup or not. The other sockets as well as these are hiding in what we call the toy cupboard. And if I just lift the top off there, you can see all sorts of bits and pieces. So with 2 sockets, and you can see we've got PlayStation in there, which is plugged in, and the cool box. Now the cool box can run off the hookup when you're on the campsite, and it can run off the battery while you're driving, but it's best not to run it off the battery just while you're on a campsite without a hookup, because the cool box can soon flatten the leisure battery. On the front of this panel here it looks really complicated, but most of these are just fuses. The The first switch here says charger, just leave it on. The next one says mains, orange lights on showing we're hooked up, you can just leave that on. The next one says car battery or caravan battery, leave it switched to caravan battery. And finally we've got 12 volt on, and that is like a master switch for turning all the power on and off. So if I turn that off, the lights and things won't work. Put that back on, you'll hear Billy will give a little sigh, the DVD player will spring to life on standby, and so on. Next to that we've got 3 switches, and the bottom one there says cool box. We push that in, you can hear the cool box running. Now that's running off the leisure battery, and in the toy cupboard, just pull this out of the way, you can just see we've got a socket there that says cool box, and the lead for the cool box is simply plugged in to that, so you can hear it's gone off. I put that back in, just pop it back in till you get contact, don't push it down too hard or you can break the socket, and that's running off the leisure battery. If you're on campsite, unplug that from there, and on the mains you can turn that on, and there's a transformer here, it gives you a 12 volt socket. Take the lead for the cool box, pop it in there, and that's now running off the mains hookup, so there's no danger of you flattening the battery. The transformer itself will tend to get quite warm, so put it on top of the cupboard lid rather than leaving it in with the lid on, and just watch that the end of the socket doesn't get really hot. It's best not to run them continuously, just use it to get the temperature down, and then you can switch it off and leave it for a bit. As you can tell, the cool box is quite noisy. I don't run them at night. We tend to run it for an hour in the morning, hour in the evening when we get on campsites, and then you can run it off the battery while you're going as well. Okay. Other bits and pieces, I won't go into too much detail, it causes confusion, but the PlayStation can also be used for playing DVDs. We need to be on the hookup, put the power on, a little light comes on the PlayStation. If you open the drawer, you can tell we've got power. You can put a DVD in there, or we've got PlayStation games under the seat. That feeds through to this screen above our heads. Now the DVD player here, press the silver button and drop the screen down. We've got the power on the panel, so we're on standby, and the one that's worn out at the end there is the power on. Just press that, and you can see it's got browser on, it's showing the PlayStation input is ready to go. You can also play the TV through there. To play the TV, first of all turn your PlayStation off, because it'll interfere with it. And then on the front here we've got TV tuner, switch that on, and that puts this little digibox on. The DVD player's got an analogue tuner in it, which is obviously no good for anything anymore, so we've had to put a digibox in here, and that's feeding through. You can see it says no signal. It says no signal because we've got no aerial plugged in. There's an aerial here, just get the lead, plug the coax into the back on the socket there, and this has got a magnet in, so you can stick it outside the van on the outside and try and get a signal. You need to be away from the metal of the van to get any chance of getting a signal with that. So that's TV, DVD through the PlayStation, PlayStation itself, and the cool box. The remote control there for the TV, and that's one for the DVD player, but we just tend to use the controls on the front there. You'll find the handsets for the PlayStation are under the back seat, along with the games and things like that as well. If you're not on this screen here with either the PlayStation or the no signal, just press this AV TV until you get round to the right input. There's different things on there. And back round to that. Turn the TV tuner off and turn the power off. Now sometimes when you are using the TV you can hear a bit of a hum coming through it, and if so, that's the only time we would turn the charger off on here. It's the transformer that's charging your battery while you're on the hookup. So if you do think that there's a hum, you can turn that off and it will go quieter. So we said how to run the cool box. Opening the door, just put your hand on the top and put your fingers under that edge and you can open it. It's a cool box rather than a fridge, which means that it will just run when you've got it on, rather than going on and off with a thermostat. So we don't run it all the time. maybe just for an hour in the morning, hour in the evening, it will chill down to about 18 degrees below ambient temperature, which on a hot summer's day might only get you down to about 12 degrees. So just be conscious of whatever you're trying to keep cold in there and try and keep it to the minimum. Buy fresh as often as you can. We'll send Billy out with a couple of ice packs in here, frozen already, and you can pop them into the receptions on the campsites. Usually have a freezer. Pop them in the evening, pick them up in the morning as long as you remember, and put them back in, and that will help to keep your temperature down. Billy's got all of his kit in the cupboard under the cooker. Press the little buttons there and open the doors, and you'll find he's got all his crockery, cutlery, grill pan, there's washing up bowls there, and pans, utensils, water, the all important kettle, thermos flask for keeping the water warm. Press them in. Next to the cooker we've got two little cupboards. The first one here, if we lift this up, it's got Billy's mugs in his mug cozies. Stops them rattling as well while you're driving. And the next cupboard there is empty, it's got lots of storage space in there. So beneath the storage cupboard we've got the bin, and if we pull the bin out you can see there's two gas bottles. One of these is connected up to the cooker already, and the other one is in reserve, a full one. If you need to switch them over during the time that you're away with the hire, then lift out the one that's got the pipe connected to it, turn the gas off on the regulator above it, then bring out the full one, swap the connector over, put the empty one away first, and then put the full one back into the cupboard and turn the gas back on the regulator. And just make sure you let me know when you get back that you've got an empty one on board so that I can change it. There's several things from a gas safety point of view. To make sure that we don't have children playing with the knobs on the cooker and turning gas on when you don't want them to, we've got a hidden valve which has got the gas shut off to the cooker. If I lift the bin out and reach in, there's this knob here. It's across the pipe that supplies the gas from the gas bottle to the cooker. Press it in towards the bed, turn it 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and it's now in line with the pipe and the gas is on. Next we want to make sure the curtains are well out of the way of the cooker, and always have some ventilation if you're burning gas in an enclosed space. Gas is on at the valve, so if you come to the knobs you can just turn the gas on there and click. Regulate like a tap, just turns down and it's off there. There's a clicker for each of the burners, but there isn't one for the grill, so you need the gas lighter just out of the cupboard here. Light it under each side of the grill. It just sparks rather than shooting flames. Let everything cool down, and make sure you turn the gas back off again at the tap hidden away behind the bin. We don't fold this up, although it can fold up, we don't fold it up because if you keep moving it and so on, it can loosen the joints, which isn't great. Okay. When you finish with the cooking and so on, when you're shutting this window, make sure it's shut for travelling or the curtains will go everywhere. Put that down and then make sure it goes click shut. In this cupboard, we've got the same, there's lots of room. You'll be happy to find we've got Billy's handbook, and this has got everything in that I've just shown you now, from which key does what, through to how the roof goes up, how the seats and the table work, where the breakers are if you don't get power through to your sockets, where the gas shut off is. Final thing we've got in here is a set of thermal screens for the windows. When it's lovely and summery like this, curtains will do just fine, but it can go quite chilly even in August, so these are to help keep you warm. They're all labelled up, driver's door one there, in the shape to fit. They've got suckers on the back, and if you just wet those a bit, they'll stick on the windows. You'll find that during the night one or two of the suckers will give up and peel off. In the morning when you come to take them off the windows, don't pull them on the tabs there, instead just flick a fingernail under the edge of the suckers to break the suction, let them all fall off the windows. There'll be condensation on the back of them, so we just spread them out in stuff in the boot just to let them air in the morning, and then you can fold them up. So they're very handy. They're also really good if it's hot and sunny like it is today. You can put them on all the windows to keep the sun off, and it helps to keep Billy cool because you can soon get up to a really high temperature, and that's not good for your cool box things. So we've done gas, we've done electrics, we've done how to put the kettle on and how to make the bed up. That's all there is to it. It's a done. We've got everything packed away in Billy, and we need to close the roof obviously before we go driving off. First of all, check that there's nothing down the little gully on the hinge side. No important soft toys or small children left in there. And then make sure these bed cushions are slid apart. Get hold of the handles in the roof and just pull down. Once you get it down to about 6 inches to go, it will not go up anymore. And then on the outside, you can just check you're not going to trap any folds as the roof comes down. The black seal on the edge, if you pull on that, it will come off. It should just sit into the gutters, and then you can put the clips back on, pull the R clip out, put that down. Short one in the front, big one at the back. And the last thing to do before you're going to set off anywhere is check around, make sure you've not left any wellies under the van, and all important, at the back, disconnect the hookup. And that's camping in Billy.